exposing the weirdest law you've probably never heard of. Get ready for a story that's as British as tea and crumpets, and just as delightfully odd. In the heart of London, there's a rumor that dying in the Houses of Parliament is technically illegal. Yes, you heard that right. Illegal. It sounds like something out of a Monty Python sketch, but this peculiar piece of trivia has been circulating for decades. So what's the deal? Let's unravel why this bizarre rule even exists. First things first, no one is actually getting arrested for dying in Parliament. There's no secret squad of bobbies waiting to slap handcuffs on the dearly departed. Still, this quirky law has been making people scratch their heads for years. It's the kind of fact that pops up in pub quizzes and leaves everyone wondering, wait, can that really be true? The story goes that if you die inside the Houses of Parliament, you're technically entitled to a state funeral. That's right, just by being in the right or wrong place at the wrong time, you could be honored like a monarch or a national hero. And that's a pretty big deal. State funerals are usually reserved for royalty, prime ministers, and the most celebrated figures in British history. Imagine the paperwork. So, to avoid all that drama, someone supposedly made it illegal to die there. The idea was to prevent the government from having to organize a grand, expensive ceremony every time someone's heart gave out during a heated debate. But here's the kicker. There's no official record of anyone ever being prosecuted under this so-called law. In fact, there's no actual law on the books that says you can't die in Parliament. It's more of a myth, a legend that's taken on a life of its own. Legal experts have combed through centuries of British statutes and found nothing to back it up. It's a classic example of an urban legend, one that's just believable enough to stick around. In fact, some say the myth started as a joke among lawmakers themselves, poking fun at the pomp and circumstance of British tradition. Others think it's a misunderstanding of the rules about who qualifies for a state funeral. Still, it's one of those fun facts people love to mention at parties. Hey, don't drop dead in Parliament or you'll cause a constitutional crisis. It's a guaranteed conversation starter, and a reminder that even the most serious institutions have their share of silly stories. So why do these weird laws and legends stick around? Maybe it's because they add a bit of color to the often gray world of politics. Or maybe we just love a good story, especially one that makes us laugh at the absurdity of bureaucracy. Mostly, they stick around because they make us laugh, and maybe, just maybe, they remind us that lawmakers have a sense of humor too. After all, who wouldn't want to imagine a stern-faced official trying to enforce the unenforceable? So next time you visit London, feel free to tour the Houses of Parliament. Marvel at the history, the architecture, and the centuries of tradition that echo through those halls. And if your guide mentions the no dying in Parliament rule, you'll know the real story behind the myth. You can even impress your friends with your newfound knowledge. Just remember, debates can get heated, but try to keep your pulse steady. No need to test the legend for yourself. British history is full of oddities, and this is just one of many. From laws about handling salmon suspiciously to rules about wearing armor in Parliament, the UK has no shortage of strange stories. Now you know, dying in Parliament might not really be illegal, but it definitely makes for one unforgettable story. It's a perfect example of how myths and legends can become part of a nation's identity. Who knew British law could be this dead funny? So next time you hear a wild legal tale, remember, sometimes the truth is even stranger than fiction.